I thought we could like put a Wheat bar in the beer or something, but anyway, I'm gonna eat one of these now.
Welcome everyone to another episode of A Beer with the Brewer, and today we are joined by another special guest, probably almost going back in time a little bit. Matty Fay, how are you?
Good mate, how are you, Matty Cuthbert?
Very well. As I don't know if people will, I'm sure they'll remember back to when we used to do this in a bit different format.
And I was about 15 kilos lighter.
You started off as the host of the
did.
Revel Brewing show.
Yeah.
So we used to film that over at Oxford Street. Bit of a different format.
Yeah, it was,
And now it's sort of, I guess, evolved into doing this. Probably largely due to COVID, we had to change a little bit, but I think doing this, we're now up to, what is it, over 50 episodes?
60, this is 68 or 69, I think.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's getting up there.
So that's not bad.
No, it's done really well.
Flown well. So it's time to have you back on, mate.
It is, mate. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Good to see you also. You're in your brewer's flannel there, mate.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for the nice gift. I mean, I'm basically a brewer now, aren't
Pretty
I?
much,
I'm ready to dry hop some stuff.
Yep.
That's what I feel like with this flannel on.
There's another podcast that I occasionally watch on a Wednesday night, and they talk about what a different colour flannel means.
Right.
So this red one, they were terming the dry hopping flannel. And then a couple of weeks ago, Gladfield sent those over to us. And I think that one's the upgrade. That's a double dry hopping flannel.
Double dry hop. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like double the level of the brewer that I am.
Yeah, exactly.
Already.
Spend a bit of time in the brewery.
Yeah. Just annoying people, really.
So the flannels really have nothing to do with the beer we're about to talk about.
No.
But anyway, they're a nice little touch.
Yeah, helps to look the part.
Exactly. We probably should point out, mate, you didn't want to come back on the show until your beard grew back a little bit.
Correct. Yeah. No, it's been about 4 weeks, I think, since I shaved my beard, so it's starting to come back in. But no, I've definitely just been staying at home for like about the past month, so until I can look normal again. It's not used to not having my beard, I should say.
So for those at home, you shaved your beard off for a very good cause.
Did.
Raised, how much money did you end up raising?
$5,021 or something like that.
So your target being about 5K?
It was. So basically, yeah, I did the CEO sleep out, and the challenge was to raise $5,000 each, and I thought, how can I get people to to jump on board and kind of like inflate that figure a bit for me. So the deal was, I hadn't shaved my beard in 7 years, and I said, okay, if I reach the 5K, my beard goes.
Yep.
But if it's $1 under, obviously the money still goes toward the cause, but
Yeah.
the beard will stay. And I was sitting on my lounge, feeling very, very safe about things at about 4:30. Just over 3K, I think I had, and then a generous sponsor came in at the last minute to get me over the line, which was very nice of them. So thanks,
great.
guys, for putting that together and getting the beard gone.
Off with the beard.
Off with the beard. So I've had to postpone my podcast comeback at least a few weeks.
I do remember walking in here a few Fridays back. I think it was a day or two after you just shaved it. And think, who's that baby?
Well, the thing was, I'd always grown the beard to hide the fact that I have no chin. And then the most absurd part was when I shaved it back and realised I'd actually grew a few more chins.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 reasons to have a beard now.
Yeah.
So it's come back.
Age gets the better of the best of us.
That's it, mate.
Yes, but anyway, we better crack open this
Yes.
beer.
Can't wait.
The Mango Mac is back. We've been waiting a little while for this one.
Yes. Trying my best to do a brewer's pour.
Yeah, you just need a nice bit of foam on there,
Ooh,
mate.
yep.
The brewer's pour. You've got the double dry hop flannel on, so you should be able to nail it. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Now, I have noticed walking in here today, you've bought your own special vessel.
I have. Brought a few props to the show.
Yeah, a few props.
Thinking of ways that I can add extra value to the show.
Yep.
A few
So you want
talking
to
points.
tell us why you've brought your own vessel in?
Well, don't know how well you can read the writing
Probably
on that
not
with
well,
the beard.
but-
Not very well. I'll explain. That's okay.
Yeah, sure.
So I play for Revellers Tigers in the 4th grade cricket, Premier Cricket comp. And yeah, last year I scored the most runs in the whole competition. And they gave us these glasses as a little trophy for the most runs, most wickets or whatever. Revel are also a generous sponsor of our cricket club. So it wasn't all a selfish reason to
No,
talk
bit
about
of
that.
self-promotion, man.
But I thought, well, this thing's just sitting there like gathering dust. I'm not really using it for anything. Like, why not bring it? I've seen you guys drink out of some obscure vessels on this show before, and I thought, what better time to crack it out?
Absolutely. Had I have known that was the theme, mate, I could have bought in a few of my old trophies.
That would have been
back in
interesting.
my glory football days.
Nice. So I need a big cup or something like that.
Yeah,
to drink out of. It would have
exactly.
been awesome.
Yes. Anyway, we got the Mango Mac is back. We canned this yesterday, so it's very fresh. Been waiting a little while for this beer to come back, so it's good to see it back in can.
Absolutely.
I think it's going to hit the shelves next week.
Yep.
Well,
yep.
by the time this goes down,
it'll be out. Yeah. So, yeah, I think definitely a very popular beer, and I must admit one I was pretty keen to jump on and talk about. Have that chat with you about this beer because, mate, it's a banger. You know, the punters really sort of can't wait for the next time that we bring it out. So I'm sure it'll do well out in trade. Yeah, do you want to actually tell us a little bit about how you guys came up with the idea for this beer? I mean, obviously we've got the wee spars there, but yeah, how did that all sort of come about?
Yeah, this beer sort of become a beast, really. The first time I think we made it was for our second birthday, I'm going to say. Mm-hmm. Geordie, who used to be our venue manager, who people who know Revel know Geordie, wanted to put together a little sour bar and serve sorbets to match the sours.
I remember that. Yep.
So we set that up over at Bulimba at Oxford Street, which is pretty cool. I think at the time we had 4 different sours or something for the 4 taps.
Well, there would have been.
Different
I think we
flavoured
had
sorbets.
Yeah, I think we had the Strawberry Wishes was one, this was one, and then maybe the Pavlova potentially.
Yeah,
It was around about that time, I think. Yeah.
So at the time, we did a very small batch of this. It was actually, we brewed another sour and we pinched a bit of the wort to make this beer. The core recipe came from a friend of ours who was working at Tippler's Tap at the time. I think he'd homebrewed it. Mm-hmm. And then we had another guy, Jimmy, who was working with us as well, who used to work at Tippler's Tap. Yeah. And we sort of thought together, why don't we make this? It'd be cool, we'll just do a little batch to go for the birthday for that event. Mm-hmm. And we made, I think we only did 5 or 6 kegs, so it was quite small. Mm-hmm. And then everyone loved it. And then there was calls to bring it back for, I don't know, 8-9 months until we actually brewed it again, brewed a full batch of it over at Oxford Street. Scaled it up to 15 hectolitres, which is our sort of minimum batch size. And the first time we released it, it just went nuts. And all of a sudden we're getting all these sort of rave reports about it. It sold out in a couple of days. And then from there it sort of just grew legs. I think we brewed it maybe once or twice more over at Oxford Street. And then when we come over to this brewery almost 2 years ago, we scaled it up to 7,000 litres. So no mucking around.
Yeah, straight into it.
Tripled the batch size or whatever the volume is. And again, the first time we released it, we went from selling out 1,500 litres to 7,000 in a couple of days.
That's pretty crazy.
Obviously it reached a lot more people with a bigger batch, but it's sort of, it started to grow sort of a cult following, I guess. We released it about September last year, so it's almost been 12 months between mangoes.
Yeah.
And it did the same thing, it's always super popular.
Yeah.
I know the guys in the venues and also the sales reps are always talking about when can we bring back the mango because it is so popular. We were going to release it earlier in the year in about March, April, but we had a bit of an issue with mango supply. Like a lot of fruit, the season for fruit wasn't that great. We had a lot of rain, which affects the fruit crop. The mango in particular was down 50% on their normal yield, and the fruit itself just wasn't the same quality. Basically, the more rain you get, the less sweet the fruit is. So stuff like growing grapes and whatever the fruit is, it's actually yields better fruit when it's a dry season in terms of like the intensity of the sugar content and flavour. So they talk about really good growing years in wine. Sometimes like in South Australia, Victoria, where it's predominantly from, they'll have like a really dry summer, and then the plant will actually really concentrate the nutrients out of the soil and what moisture there is into a smaller amount of fruit, and you get better fruit quality because of it, and then you get better wine or fruit, whatever it is. And that basically happened with the mango crop. Also with a lot of the weather, I think a lot of them literally got blown off the trees. Yep. A lot of storms up here in Queensland and that sort of stuff. So it was really hard to get mango. Our main mango supplier couldn't even access it, so I've had to get it off someone else. So it sort of took till this time until there was enough mango to actually be able to make the beer. Yep. So it's not that we didn't want to make it again, it's like we literally didn't have the main ingredient.
Yeah.
And even now we had to use an extra, I think 20-30% fruit than we normally would because it just wasn't there in terms of the flavour impact that we'd normally get.
Yep.
But I think it's actually come out pretty well in the end.
Yeah, I think you've done a fantastic job, especially all those factors thrown into the mix. It must be really hard to, when you have such a popular beer like this with a few variables in the products that you basically have no control over, it must be hard to try and just replicate the same consistency over time, I suppose.
Absolutely. Like I was just saying with the fruit, the fruit varies. It varies from season to season and also the time of the year when you use the fruit. So it's going to affect the end product. The ingredients going in obviously affect the end product. So yeah, it's hard. And people, I guess, build up an expectation of what the beer should taste like or whatever it is you're making. And then obviously you don't want to release it if it's subpar.
Absolutely not, no.
So a lot of work and time and timing in particular has gone into making sure we could make this beer in the first place and then releasing it at the right time. There is other elements in there. There's coconut in there and macadamia, of course. Because the fruit is, I guess, slightly not as sweet. It's a mango flavour. It's definitely there on the aroma. We just dialed back the coconut a little bit just to put the beer in balance. The actual flavour of the beer, I think, is really nice.
Absolutely. Yeah, you definitely get a big whack of mango when you go to taste that, for sure.
So in the space of 12 months, I guess you forget a little bit what it actually tastes like as well, because we haven't had it.
That was odd. That was one thing I was going to say, because I know that there's definitely been beers that I've had. Like a single hop IPA is probably a good example of that. Like you'll have that because you're showcasing just that hop. And then 12 months later you go, oh, that takes me back to, and you've even made beers, I can't remember off the top of my head, but some beers and I go, that tastes a bit like this other one because it had that hop in it or something like that.
Yep.
So it is a little bit harder to recognize that after about 12 months, but I think if we were to mark it up against what we're trying to imitate in a beer, I definitely think it ticks the box and more, mate. It's a cracker and you've done well.
No, I'm excited to have it back, but there's been a lot of challenges, I guess, and pressure to actually get it out and get it right. So up until we packaged it, I was still umming and ahhing, as you do with nearly every beer.
Yeah.
Particularly new beers and stuff like that. And also in making it, particularly a beer like this, there's so many different elements to it. We're making the sour in the first place, so that's an extra process in itself. So you're going to make sure the souring process is right, the base beer is right before you actually put anything into it. Then you've got the fruit element, make sure the fruit ferments out, it's got the fruit punch in it, and then putting the extra flavours in at the end. There's just so many intricate sort of steps and details in it to actually get it to come out what you're aiming for. So
is there anything sort of like different to some other sours that we've made? Because we've made a lot of other sours with a big sort of whack of fruit. Like, is there something different about the mango, the coconut, or anything like, or the macadamia that's better, worse, or indifferent to work with than some of our other fruits and additives?
Every fruit behaves a little bit differently, and they all sort of have a different impact in the beer. Some are a lot more punchy than others. There's been times where we've used a certain fruit and then we'll end up having to boost it with like a natural flavour of that fruit, just so you can actually taste it. Like stuff like watermelon, cucumber, not we've done a lot of cucumber, but those things that are mainly a water-based fruit, they don't have the same sort of flavour. But something like a mango, it is quite flavoursome, particularly the variety we use is Kensington Pride, KP mangoes.
Yep.
They're the really punchy ones. So the mango does come through quite well compared to some of the other fruits. But yeah, as I was saying before, the fruit itself wasn't the same sort of quality as we've used in the past. So I've had to use more. Yeah, so there's
interesting.
Yeah, lots of different elements. And depends what you're actually trying to make. This one, I guess, it's based on the wheat bar. So you want it to have that nice sort of creaminess and almost ice cream-like sort of mouthfeel and flavour.
And if I remember correctly, back to the first time, you never had a wheat bar before you actually made this
No,
beer.
I hadn't. Being a Victorian, I didn't even know what a wheat bar was.
Yeah.
It's obviously a lot bigger thing up here.
It's a quintessential Queensland classic.
I certainly know what they are now.
The wheat bars.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no, I think that was probably the thing that stood out for me when you made it the first time round. It might have actually been the second time round that you told me that you never actually had it before. But you knocked it out of the park on this one, and I dare say it'll be popular again.
I'm sure it will. It's exciting to see it back out in the wild.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of people have also asked us like whether we'll be brewing it more consistently and stuff like that. Like, I mean, is it just down to the availability of the products, or is there better times of year for us to brew it, I guess, to fit in with all the other beers that we're making and things like that?
I think it's a bit of both. The supply of the mango is definitely a factor, as I was just talking about.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to make this 5-6 times a year to have it as a year-round product because of that. And I guess from a company point of view, well, you'd understand from a marketing background, you want it to have the impact when it drops.
Exactly.
So we haven't had it for a year, so
Yeah.
we're expecting this to fly because people have literally been sort of waiting for it. So you've got to sort of balance the availability of it a little bit, just so it sort of, I guess for us, has the impact when it drops, so that people, I guess, don't expect that it's going to be there all the time, and it sort of loses, not that it's going to lose its popularity, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think also too, you know, this beer is like a little treat, you know what I mean? It's a bit like
exactly.
a bit like having a dessert, like you wouldn't be having
Exactly
it
the
5
same.
nights a week or
Yeah,
something.
like
So, I mean,
Some people might,
I'd
but
love
I'll
to,
probably-
like I might for the next 2 weeks, but I think that it's definitely something that you want to, you know, you don't actually want to have all the time, because if you did that, it might lose its not its hype, but it might lose the effect a little bit. And if you
exactly.
you know, if
Too
you're
much
able to
of a
have
good
it
thing.
every week, you maybe wouldn't be looking forward to it as much. So perhaps a little bit of delayed gratification's all right with this beer, I think.
I think for a beer like this, 2-3 times a year is plenty.
Yeah.
Release it, it's around for, I don't know, probably a month because it's quite popular.
Yeah.
And then you get a bit of a break and then go back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
like your favourite ice cream.
Exactly. And I think it's definitely a treat. And for me, probably the best time to have this beer would be after hitting a ton of Craftsman Oval. So hopefully I can lift a few of these after the match, or I can convince Tigers to have a few 4-packs in the canteen for me.
Yes.
But I think it's definitely something to be enjoyed, and you know, in summer, no matter what you're doing, whether you're going camping, going out to the beach, or just a picnic or something in the balmy Queensland weather. It's very, very approachable. It's not, you know, the flavors aren't gonna blow your taste buds off the back of your head or anything. It's just enough there, I think. And it's not heavy at all. It's only one standard drink.
Yeah, it's only 3.5%. So
Yeah.
when we first made it, it was based on our original Berliner Weiss recipe. The first one we did was the Strawberry Wishes, if you remember back.
Yep, I remember that one.
And when we made that, I wanted to make it a traditional Berliner Weiss, which generally is a 3.5% beer. So we used sort of the base and then obviously changed from strawberry to mango to create this beer.
Yep.
Nowadays, we make some 4.5%, 5% sours, depending what the actual beer is trying to do. Some of the cocktail-based ones we make a little bit higher because it suits being a cocktail.
Sure, yeah, makes sense.
But one like this, it makes it so refreshing. You can have a couple
yeah.
of cans and yeah. It's
And
perfect.
I mean, the Gosa compared to the Berliner Weiss, the Gosa tends to be a little bit more salty as well, which probably lends itself to a few of the different cocktail styles as well, perhaps.
Yeah, well, we did the margarita.
Yep.
The most recent one is the strawberry daiquiri.
It's going well.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a couple more. Maybe we'll release fruit tingle as it.
Ooh, fruit tingle. That's got me going. I think that a bit like the so like on the weekend, I think it was actually, we had a Sideshow Alley event at Bulimba, and they were doing the sorbet and the strawberry daiquiri. So throwback to what you were mentioning a couple of years ago, which is cool.
With the Ekabang in town.
With the Ekka, yeah. So was there any plans in the mix for some more cocktail variety sours, or is that under lock and key?
I'm sure there is. I think our brew schedule is pretty full for the rest of the year.
Maybe we should throw it out to the viewers and say, if there's a cocktail that you want to see turned into a beer, drop it below and I'll brew it. I got Flano, so that's fine.
That's the dry hopping Flano.
Oh, the dry hopping Flano, okay.
Maybe we'll add it as a fruiting Flano.
I can't do a fruited sour in this Flano. Yellow Flano, maybe.
Yeah, we'll have to speak to them and see what colour the fruited Flano is.
See which one. But yeah, no, any in the works, or?
There's always something in the works, mate. The 5th birthday is fast approaching.
It is
in
too.
December. So last year we did 4 beers for the 4th, and the logistics of that nearly killed me.
Yes.
That was going to be, in particular, the peach iced tea sour. So we're a little bit reluctant this year to do an extra one on top of that. So there's been a bit of planning and umming and ahhing, but We've recently committed to do the 5 beers.
Okay.
One of those is a sour, one I'm pretty excited about.
Cool.
But I think I'll keep that one a surprise for now.
Well, I'll have to start marketing that one pretty soon then if I've got 5 to drop at the same time.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's probably the other part too, is trying to get all the message out for those beers. But we might have to put together a special 5th birthday case or something like
I
that
think
maybe
so.
to go.
Yeah.
Because I think 5's, how'd you go with 6? I think 5's like
I think we cap it at 5.
I think you cap it at
Yeah,
5.
I might just go back to 1.
Go back to 1,
Yeah.
one really, really unique, special one. But yeah, I'm pretty keen for that. So it sounds like a pretty good back end of the year beer-wise.
Oh, absolutely. And we'll see. You never know. This one might come back before the year's out.
An Imperial Mango.
Oh, an Imperial Mango.
It's the only way that we could improve on this, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Imperial Mango would go down great. So, no, it's very good.
Yeah.
Cool. I think we've covered just about everything, Matty.
Unless there's anything more you want to tell us about your glorious cricket career, mate.
Oh, there's many things
Spring
I can
is
tell
in the
you.
air, the
There's
cricket
many
season is
things.
approaching.
Well, it is. The season is fast approaching, and I mean, we've been in pre-season now for about 6 weeks. I've been to 1 training session.
I was going to say, do you do pre-season playing cricket?
Well, absolutely. Our first grade team's actually starting this week, so they're running a new competition where basically you can get contracted players from all around Australia to come and play for your club for this. I think it's about 3 weeks of 2020s.
Yep.
So we got the likes of Jordan Silk, Josh Layla, and a couple others. There is a real, I don't know, well, this will go to air afterward, but there's a real smoky for a very, very well-known international cricketer to perhaps play this weekend. So we'll see what happens there. But no, definitely pre-season's in full swing, but us 4th graders, mate, we won't really get back into the swing of things for about 4 or 5 weeks. So I think probably next week I've got to show my face and roll the arm over and try and hit a few bombs again this year and see how it goes. Yep. So we were runners up. Sorry, not runners up. We made the semi-final last year and then grand final. Won the grand final the year before. So yeah, keen to give it another big crack and
maybe win another glass, mate.
Win another glass, hopefully, mate. I will tell you one little story though about one of those hundreds. Was after Geordie's farewell. We had Geordie's farewell over at Balimba, and
had a couple of ales that evening.
The Yeti was popular.
Yeah, that's
around
right.
about then, and I had a few too many Yetis, I think, and I'd let one player know the week before. He was pretty young. I was like, mate, there's no turning up. Dusty, like this and that. Oh, no, I'm just not feeling the greatest. But anyway, 121 not out of 90 balls.
Oh, there you go, mate.
There's something in the Yeti.
Yeah, mind over matter, eh?
Mind over matter, exactly. But no, it's all good fun, and I enjoy nothing more than a nice, refreshing beer of yours after a good cricket game on a Saturday.
Beautiful.
So that's where I'll be enjoying a few of these, I reckon.
Awesome. All right, mate. Thanks for coming on.
No problems.
Good to have you back.
Likewise.
Yeah, so I guess get out there and get this beer while you can.
That's it. I definitely think it won't last long. Keep an eye out for the stockers, which will get up ASAP. I know a couple of people have been asking already, but yeah, it's a banger of a beer, and we don't have to say too much more about it, I think. The punters will be getting around this one for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Beautiful. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.